lost last night. They have split the series so far against the Nationals, and tomorrow, or tonight rather, they will have the rubber match of the series. Bernie, so we have seen this team continue for some reason to struggle against lefties, and I know that we were talking about injuries, and Ivan Herrera is not available, and he does kill left-handed pitching, but that can't explain away everything, because there are teams who lose players all year, every season, and they still can manage to hit certain types of pitching. If one guy is changing your lineup that much, what does it say about your lineup?
Well, you just hit it. Listen, I would be terribly unfair if we didn't cite Herrera's absence as a factor in their really, really terrible struggles against left-handed pitching. But they have a lot of other hitters, and one of the big issues here, in fact, I think it's the biggest issue, because Cardinals have actually not done all that well against left-handed pitching all long. It's reached a really, really bad stage, but it's been an issue all year. It's because they have so many left-handed batters. And, Ron, you've been around baseball long enough. The toughest matchup traditionally for any hitter is when it's a left-handed hitter going up against a left-handed pitcher. Left-handed pitchers have big advantages over them. Now, there are some great left-handed hitters. It doesn't matter. But that's not really the case with the Cardinals. Like, even some of the best Cardinals hitters, like Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Nootbaar, Nolan Gorman, guys that they need to come through. Frankly, their numbers against lefty pitching this year are really poor. I mean, it's just a fact. So they do not have a balanced offense. They have too many left-handed bats, and then their right-handed batters, other than Herrera and Contreras, have not punished left-handed pitching. There's a lot of those guys are below average against left-handed pitching. So maybe it's just an overall talent issue, but I do know this. Since the end of May, left-handed starting pitchers have a 2.98 ERA against the Cardinals.
Oof.
I mean, the Cardinals have just gotten overmatched, and it's really kind of worse than that, because if you look at Kershaw and Andrew Haney and Boyd and Imanaga and Cameron Noah, the kid over in Kansas City, Mackenzie Gore, those, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those guys have combined for 7 starts in recent weeks against the Cardinals. They've allowed 2 earned runs in 39 2/3 innings. That group of pitchers I just mentioned. I mean, you're not even being competitive, right?
Yeah, and that's really the issue, because this team early in the season, for at least the first couple of months, Bernie, and we talked about it a lot, they were competitive at bats, and maybe that left-handed issue was always there to an extent, but it feels like that is really noticeable now, and it's probably really noticeable because a lot of other things aren't going well. They're not just not scoring runs against lefties; they're not scoring runs, period. Really, I mean, they're compared to other major league teams well below average in that area over the last few weeks. They are not pitching particularly well from the starting rotation. They've been shut out a bunch of times too. I mean, you've got all of these things that are happening at once. So when that happens, the things that are, the little splits, right, that don't look good, look even worse when nothing is working. It's the kind of thing that we would probably gloss over if they were still scoring some runs and winning games. But now it is really noticeable.
No, that's exactly right, my friend. And one thing that Ollie Marmol has talked about and the Cardinals have talked about a lot this season, and they should talk about it, but there was a time, to your point, there was a time earlier this season where the Cardinals had a really good thing going, because if the pitchers were in a little bit of a rut, well, the hitters picked them up, right? Then when the hitters would go through a little slumps, and maybe be quiet for a week, the starting pitching would really be good that week. So they picked each other up. In other words, they always had one thing working well. But the problem now, I think the bullpen's fine. But in terms of starting pitching and offense, right now, earlier in the year, either one of them would be taking care of the other thing. But since May 30th, the Cardinals are 16-20, and that's like the 12th best record in the National League. And they have scored 3 runs or less in 16 of those 20 losses. And the starting pitching ERA since May the 30th has been flat out awful. There's no other way to put it. So now they can't pick each other up because both of those critical areas are going very poorly since basically the end of May.
So I guess the real question is this who they are really? And were we fooled earlier in the season? And again, I don't want to say I hate to go that path and think, well, maybe that's just what it is. But the reason I lean that way is because before the season started, we didn't expect a whole lot from them anyway. I mean, we knew that, look, we know the Central Division usually isn't very good, so there's always that chance, right? You always kind of lean on that, hey, you never know what can happen. Unless you're the Pirates, you might have an opportunity here. But then we allowed ourselves in the first several weeks of the season to feel like, okay, well, maybe they are going to make some kind of run here because they're playing pretty well. Not like everything went well, but they were winning ball games. So did we fool ourselves in the first several weeks of the season? And is this who they really are? Or are they just in a bad stretch? And that's the question that needs to be answered now. And I don't know what that answer is.
Well, it's frustrating because you don't want to jump to any conclusions. The way I feel is this, and we've all talked about it. They tend to be a really extreme team. You know, they go for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks where they're outstanding and everything's clicking, and then they just go off the cliff, and then they sort of find their way back, and they get on a little, streak again. I mean, they're so streaky, and they are an extreme team. There's almost like no middle area. They're either really poor or they're really good. But here's what I would say. It's a kind of a minor miracle that they're still this close in the wild card race, and that's what I'm focusing on. But if these ominous trends continue, they're not going to be able to stay in that race. I mean, because you can't have awful starting pitching and awful offense and still stay within a game and a half, 2 games of a wild card spot. I mean, that's not realistic. So hopefully they'll level off in a good way. Maybe they weren't quite as good as they appeared when they were streaking and winning.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as bad as they appear when they're going into these Arctic blast type slumps,
Well, it would be nice if, and right now they are just a game and a half back of a wild card spot. The Giants hold the final wild card in the National League. Padres then are a game out, and that's the one that probably scares me the most because the Padres are a good team. I think they're better than their record. And then it's the Cardinals a half game behind where San Diego is. So while they're still here in the mix, it would be nice if, they get out of the other end of the, let's just say this is a slump, that this isn't really who they are, that they're just slumping. It's a bad stretch of a couple of weeks. They're going to be okay here soon. If they can stay within a couple of games, that'll be remarkable that they're playing this poorly and they're still right there.
Yeah, and the other thing, Chris, no, I agree with you. It is remarkable, and they can hang in this. And by the way, they're starting pitching since May the 30th, 27th in the majors, 5.25 ERA. See, that's got to get better. And we've talked about this on Gashouse Gang, which is, they don't have swing and miss stuff other than Gray and to a point, Libitor. Well, the ball's in play a lot, and sometimes batted ball luck turns against you. Batted ball luck was on their side earlier in the season. It's totally gone against them lately. But I would expect that to even level off again too. So we'll see. But anyway, the other if we look at it from a wild card standpoint, the other thing that's a concern, is like, first of all, you see teams getting pitchers back. Like the Brewers got Brandon Woodruff back. The Padres just got Darvish back, right? There are other starting pitchers on the way back with teams that are in playoff races. And a lot of the teams, I would say all than maybe Milwaukee, and Milwaukee will try to go get some help. And Milwaukee's having a great season. But anyway, all the teams that the Cardinals will have to outdo in a wild card race, that they're going to go out and they're going to make a big move, at least one big move.
Yeah.
I don't believe that'll be the case with the Cardinals. So that will put them at even more of a disadvantage. Now, perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe the Cardinals will surprise us, but I would expect these other wild card contenders to be much more aggressive about adding to what they have.
Let us know how you're feeling, what you're thinking about what Bernie Miklasz or I, Chris Ranji, have said here so far. Just what you're thinking about the Cardinals in general, who have played right now at this point 93 games. They've played 93 games this season. They are 49 and 44 right now, so 69 left to go. Nice. We will take your calls and text messages. And if you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, feel free to leave your comment there. JJ Weatherholt joins the show at 12:30. Cardinals top prospect. He's going to be with us. That's all coming up on the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
They've gone beyond the next generation of a family business. I'm Debbie Monterey. Join me and Kevin Short of Clayton Capital Partners for the next Business of Family Business coming up Saturday at 2. We'll check in with cousins Steve and Joe Haberberger of Haberberger Mechanical Contractors. Their company is now on a fourth generation of Haberbergers running the company, and there is, yes, a fifth generation on the way. It's the Business of Family Business, Saturday at 2, only on KMOX.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM 104.1 FM KMOX.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of EXP Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegummanteam.com.
KMOX is now on 104.1 FM, the same great station with even better sound.
Next delivery is hit sharply to center field, and that backs up Young, and he looks up, and it's over his head, and it's off the wall, and Newpar's got a double. Young just couldn't quite hang on to that.
Cardinals tonight, 5:50 pregame, 6:45 first pitch. It will be they call it the rubber match, They are going to try to win the series against the Washington Nationals. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji with you today on the Gashouse Gang. It's been a couple of weeks, Bernie, since we've done a show on a Thursday because we've had a lot of day games, but we are back with you today. And you were talking about the pitching and the pitch to contact and all of that stuff, and it was pretty evident in the game last night with Andre Palante because that's just the sort of pitcher he is. And I don't want to belabor this point, but this was the thing a couple of months ago that I talked about being a concern of a team that was playing pretty well and getting the results is that they just don't have enough guys in the rotation and in the bullpen who get strikeouts. And when that happens, the ball gets put in play a lot. And when the ball gets put in play a lot, even if your defense is good, you're going to end up running into trouble at some point. Because if you're an offensive team and you say good things happen when you put the ball in play, well, the other end of that is also true. If you're the defense and the ball gets put in play all the time, bad things can happen ultimately. And it feels like we're kind of in that area right now.
No, exactly right. When they left Baltimore after winning 2 of 3 from the Orioles, they were 8 games under 500. Their starting pitch, 8 games over 500, and their starting pitching ERA was fine. And, the fielding independent ERA, it was surprisingly good. But, I took note of it at that time, pointing out that, the one thing that concerns me is the lack of swing and miss and the fact that the batted ball luck has been working very much in their favor. Okay, since May the 30th, as I mentioned, a few minutes ago, their starting pitching rotation is 5.25. That's 28th in the majors, and the batted ball luck against the starting pitchers has turned because during this time, and again, they're 16-20 during this time, and they have that bad ERA. The batting average on ball play against Cardinals starting pitchers is about 302, which is the 8th highest among the 30 sets of starting pitchers. So, yeah, that we have seen it. I mean, first of all, Palante has got such good stuff about getting ground balls, but if he doesn't have a pitch working for him, he's really vulnerable. That was the case last night. Really vulnerable, and we saw the result. And they're going to make contact. They're going to get some soft hits, but they're also going to get some booming hits, and that was the case last night. And frankly, if Eric Fetty and Miles Michaelis aren't getting extremely fortunate batted ball luck where they're hitting him right at fielders, they got nothing. They really have no way. I'm just being honest. They have no way to overcome that. Because they don't strike out anybody, and they don't even get swings and misses. The ball's always in play. So if hitters are hitting them where the fielders aren't, forget about it.
Justin is watching us on Twitter at KMOX Sports and says, could they just DFA Michaelis and Fetty? I think the question really is what happens this week. I mean, Michaelis is going to start tonight, but then what happens with Fetty over the weekend? It seems like all the conventional discussion about him is that he's not going to make his next start.
Well, first of all, it isn't whether Chris Ranji or Bertie Miklasz thinks what they should do. This is about what we think the Cardinals will do because they're making a decision. I don't see John Mozeliak designating Miles Michaelis for assignment. I just don't see it. I scratch my head about it. He's been one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball since the start of the 2023 season. His stuff continues to erode. What is it that you haven't seen that lets you know exactly who he is? And he is, in effect, standing in the way of maybe some other candidates who could start. I thought for sure, almost certain, that they would start McGreevy in Fetty's place this next turn against Atlanta. But I don't know what to think now because you notice, remember, Chris, the other day, Ollie Marmol seemed frustrated about some stuff. And he wasn't specific, but when we were asking him about the Fetty question, the McGreevy question, he, with a smile on his face, he reiterated how much he loves McGreevy. And then when we were talking about the reality of the situation, though, will he make this start and will he stay up? Talking about McGreevy, Ollie's demeanor changed and he started talking about, well, we're having meetings. We're having a lot of meetings about this and which way we're going to go. Well, they haven't announced anything. So I feel very comfortable saying that, number one, they're still undecided what to do there. And number two, if it was up to the manager, McGreevy would make the start in place of Fetty. I have no doubt about that. But John Mozeliak does, in fact, control the roster decision. So eventually they're going to have to announce what their plans are. But the fact that it hasn't been announced yet, I don't know, my friend. It kind of makes me scratch my head.
Yeah, well, how often? First of all, I don't see them making a major change on two rotation players at the same time. There aren't a whole lot of teams that do that. There are probably a lot of teams that need to that could use new starters at least two of the spots, but you very rarely see a team say, okay, both this guy and this guy are out of the rotation as of right now. That doesn't happen, but it also sort of highlights how bad the position is right now that the Cardinals are in, that they really kind of need to replace two starters. And for Michaelis, this goes back a while. This isn't just a this season problem. For Fedde, it is. But now they're in a position where there are two guys in the rotation. They really can't, if they're trying to win this year, if they want to make the most of this playoff position they're in and they still have a wild card shot, they can't really afford to go with these two guys for very much longer.
Yeah, and I'm gonna harken back to just the one thing which I've alluded to twice. The Cardinals are in really good shape after leaving Baltimore towards the end of May. And they're 16-20 since then, and the starting pitching ERA is 28th among 30 teams. So during that time, since May the 30th, Michaelis has a 7.59 ERA, and Fedde has got a 6.54 ERA, and they've allowed a bunch of home runs, and the batting averages against both of those guys is sky high. No, it's not going to work. When 40% of your rotation is a liability, where do you go? How can you have any consistent success that way?
So that's what Steve is saying, who is watching us on YouTube and talking about the rotation, and the starters go 6, but they give up 8 runs. They're basically forfeiting a game. And that Steve says, I don't think they have much choice either. And that, I think, plays to what you were talking about with Ollie on Gashouse Gang Tuesday, who I think he is frustrated. I think he's frustrated that there hasn't been more help for him. And I know he knew going into the season what the expectation was. They lowered the payroll. We've talked about the transitional year time and time again, but then they ended up being competitive in the first couple of months, and you start to think, oh, well, maybe we could have something here. Maybe we could have a real team. At that point, if you're the manager, you start thinking, well, damn, I need some help. I mean, if we're going to make a real run, need some help here. And part of it feels like, Bernie, that he's not crying for help, but he's sort of like, hey, we need a little assistance here.
No doubt about it. And listen, Michael McGreevy, he has earned a spot in that rotation. And I don't want to overrate him. I don't want to, act like that, he's the next Adam Wainwright or something, but he clearly deserves a shot to replace either Fedde or Michaelis in that rotation. He's pitched well enough to earn that shot, and he's really developed, and he was a first-round pick. I mean, what else does he have to do? I think one of the big developments this season was Quinn Matthews, who was on a fast train to St. Louis, but he developed a tired shoulder with some discomfort in the spring. Or early in the season, really early in the season, and they shut him down, which they had to do, was the smart thing to do. And since he's been back at Memphis, he hasn't been very good. He's got to sharpen up. He's got to build his stamina back up. In a different situation, Quinn Matthews would be knocking on the door too, but that's not the case. Now, maybe in the second half of the season, maybe you get to late July, early August, maybe Quinn Matthews will be ready for that opportunity. And then I still don't think John Mozeliak's going to designate Miles Michaelis for assignment. Miles Michaelis could have a 15 ERA, and he's going to remain a Cardinal to the end of the year.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong about that. But it just boggles the mind. It's just strange.
Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. When we come back, we were just talking about left-handed hitters and the Cardinals against left-handed pitching. Well, our next guy's a lefty who's done pretty well against left-handed pitching in the minor leagues, and he's one of the Cardinals' best prospects. JJ Weatherholt, who just recently was promoted to AAA, will join the show when we come back on 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It is 90 degrees in St. Louis. It feels like it is 95 scattered showers possible this afternoon. The weather brought to you by Sachs Financial.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Let's tune out the noise a little bit and focus on a retirement plan. If you don't have one or don't know how to get started, find us on our website at saxfinancial.com or retiresafestl.com.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals. Ameren Total Access 550. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
That's a flare toward right. It'll eat up with the sun. Baker, it'll get to the wall. Weatherholt's got good legs. We'll see what score they give, but it could be the first AAA hit for JJ Weatherholt. His first AAA triple as well, if it stands.
Yeah, he did that. He's been killing it lately. JJ Weatherholt, Cardinals' top prospect, moved up to AAA this week and immediately has made an impact. He's got an OPS in the last week of over 1,400. He's been crushing the baseball, and he joins us now on the Gashouse Gang. Bernie Miklas, Chris Ranji on KMOX. JJ, it's good to have you. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
So congratulations on the promotion to AAA. What is, it's just been a very short period of time, but what feels different about making that move?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's going to be a jump, but it's going to be a good challenge for me. I think I was really starting to settle in at the AA level and get comfortable, and that's great. But at the end of the day, to get to the big leagues, you got to get challenged, and so I'll be challenged here, and I'm just excited to face it.
JJ, it's really great to have you on. Listen, I'm going to speak on behalf of Cardinals fans. They're really, really excited about your future with the big club up here, and it's going to happen in a matter of time, probably sooner than later. But how you're a very confident guy, and I mean that in the best sense. But is this the pace you're on to get to the majors, which is pretty fast? Does that seem about right to you? Are you surprised at all that you've accelerated so quickly through the system?
I mean, I just try to take things day by day. Like you said, I'm definitely confident in my abilities, and especially at the plate, just learning how to hit. And I didn't see that there'd be a reason as to why I couldn't have some success in the minor leagues. I'm very happy at the point that I'm at. There's not like I mapped it out of I wanted to be at a certain level at a certain point. Kind of just wanted to take it day by day and see how I do. But I've just been competing and trying to get better, and things have been going smoothly. And it's not to say it'll always go smoothly because this game's too hard for that, but I've just been enjoying it and just getting better each day.
JJ, we know that, as Bernie said, Cardinals fans are looking forward to the day they finally get that opportunity to see you play at Busch Stadium. How difficult is it to keep, because I know you're trying to do your job day to day, but how difficult is it to keep that part out of your mind? Or does it creep in all the time that, hey, I'm going to be a big leaguer soon? Or how do you approach it?
Yeah, naturally it's going to creep up into your head, especially with each level that you go up. Now being one level away, it's going to creep into your head. But, at the end of the day, our AAA team is very solid. We have a bunch of really good players there, so it's not just about, me and how quickly I'm going to go through it. I'm still trying to develop as a player and get better, learn shortstop, get better at second, even play some third, just looking to really complete myself as a player. And we got 25 other guys on the roster grinding for the same goal, and really that's within the whole organization. So at the end of the day, those thoughts can creep in, but you just got to take it day by day and, focus on winning, playing good baseball, and just having fun with your boys.
JJ, I wanted to ask you this. We can all read stats, right? And fans can get on Baseball Reference and find your stats so far this season where you've played. But I wanted you to put it in your words. Like if a fan wanted to know, okay, can you guys tell us something about his basic hitting approach and philosophy? Can you explain to us what he thinks his strengths are, or maybe why he's advanced? Can you tell us why he's able to hit so well? He's obviously going up there with an idea. So what's your philosophy? What's your approach?
For sure. Yeah, for the main part, I'm just trying to be on time for a fastball. I usually look middle to middle away, just something I can get extended on. I'm a pretty directionally through left center field guy, so that's where I like to try to keep my sights. And then just react to the pitch. If I'm on time for the fastball, I feel like you take away the fastest pitch, then you can react to the other stuff. Obviously, hitting is hard, so sometimes it's not that simple, but, just trying to be on time with that fastball in the left center field gap and then reacting to anything. That's going to be my main thing, and I'm just trying to hit the ball on a low-line drive, kind of all throughout the field, just hit it where it's pitched. So just try to keep it as simple as possible, and it gives me the best opportunity to have success.
How does that help you, that approach against left-handed pitching? Because we were just talking about how historically lefties on lefties, it's really tough for the hitter. But you've done pretty well. Clearly you're hitting righties a whole lot better this year than lefties, but you're still hitting left-handed pitching well. So how much does that help you?
Yeah, that's kind of the battle with lefties now. I still like to try to push them away. A lot of these guys are starting to throw some sinkers inside, and so that's kind of a pitch that it's easy to get yourself out on. Sinker that runs in on your hands and just ground that one out. So I try to push them away to try to keep that one in the zone. But the thing now is their secondary pitches, their sliders and stuff like that are better, and they break later. So when you push that fastball away, you kind of get in danger of maybe chasing after that slider. But that's kind of the game that I'll play. I'm going to try to trust my eyes, push that fastball away, still try to stay in that left center gap. And, if I see spin, try to lay off of it, or if they leave it in the zone, just try to take a good swing to it.
And for our listeners, against left-handed pitching this season, JJ Weatherholt's got a 277 average, 370 on base percentage, 500 slugging percentage. I think he's okay. I think he'll be all right. Hey, I wanted to ask you this, and this is such a cliched question, man, so I almost want to apologize. You're your own guy, and you're very confident. But people always want to know comps. They want to know, who do you think, major league left-handed hitters, who do you think you're comparable to in terms of, your hitting style? Who did you look at and think, if you did, I want to be that kind of hitter? Or is it just an individual thing?
Yeah, when I grew up, I had a ton of inspiration. I played mainly second base, and I'm still not the biggest guy, but I was really, really small growing up, like a late bloomer. So I loved Altuve, Pedroia, and some of those guys at second. And then for, swing ideas, I just love looking at Robinson Cano's swing. So he was always my favorite hitter. He's a little bit more flashy of a second baseman, kind of a different profile than some of the other guys. So those are some guys that I kind of modeled myself after and just tried to, show up every day and watch what they do and try to mimic it. But, I mean, I definitely developed into my own hitting style, my own defensive style, and now I'd say, like, I still love the way Altuve plays the game, and I kind of want to emulate some of that. Pedroia played it super hard, and then in the current state, it's like you look at some of those shortstop guys. I like to talk about, like, Gunnar Henderson. Now, he's going to have more pop than me, but he's directionally can hit the ball out to left center, pull the ball, and then you have Bobby Witt, who kind of just embodies everything that you want out of a shortstop and a middle infielder. Just plays great defense, steals bases, hits for average, hits for pop. So those are some guys that kind of come to mind of, like, man, that's something I want to get to.
Hey, we'd be hey, you know what? The sports department at KMOX here, we play this game all the time. I guess you should be flattered. Like, well, who is he? And like so one day we're talking about, and Kevin Wheeler, one of our colleagues, and you'll talk to him sooner or later. He said, I think he can be Chase Utley. And I said, yeah, that'd be a hell of a career if he can be Chase Utley. Did you like Utley
No
growing
kidding.
up? Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you like him?
I did. I really liked Chase Utley. It was kind of funny. I played MLB The Show a lot with some Phillies players because back in the day, Cliff Lee was obviously a good pitching card, but he could hit. And so this was before the universal DH, and so you had to hit with your pitchers in that video game. And so I loved hitting with him. And Ryan Howard, who I've come to know, who's just a great guy. And then, like you said, Chase Utley, we're a bunch of guys I watched growing up.
JJ, you mentioned defense a couple of moments ago, and you've played shortstop and second base, a lot of shortstop this year. So, I mean, are you prepared to play anywhere, even if it's a move to the outfield or something like that? Where are you most comfortable? Where do you want to be, and what are you prepared to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm most comfortable, obviously, up the middle. It's just where I've played the majority of my career, so short and second. But, I genuinely don't really care where I play. I just want to play. So I've played some outfield in my past. I haven't done a ton of work there lately, but that's something that I wouldn't be opposed to at all. So, I mean, really, you're probably not going to see me at first or catcher, obviously. But anywhere else, I think it's fair game. And at the end of the day, I just want to compete and try to help teams win. So I'll go wherever.
I don't think I've ever heard a young player not say, I'll play wherever you want. I just want to get to the show.
Yeah.
It's never
That's
heard
new
of
mojo these days.
Yeah, that's pretty common, right? I mean, most guys will just say, I just want to get there. I don't really care where you put me. Just get me there.
Yeah, I think, it's just how good pitching's gotten, and hitting's just so much harder and harder to do that, like, hitting is the name of the game. You want to score runs, so it's kind of that mentality of, you want to be really good defensively, but, like, I'm trying to hit, try to produce in the lineup, and then hopefully they can just find a spot.
And, and you've got a great attitude. And with the way your bat plays against righties and lefties, your ability to play second, short, and some third base, I mean, that's going to mean that even as the youngest, a really young major league hitter, that's going to give you a chance to be in the lineup more often than maybe you would be if you were confined to one position. So that's really a bonus for you to be able to play three positions.
For sure. And I think, especially with being in the minors and just continue to develop there, you just have an opportunity to get some good experience at that level and just really learn those positions ins and outs. So whenever, that day does come, you're just ready for whatever.
Also at DH, you were talking about the universal DH, and that's pretty common now. I know historically, a lot of older players did not like that. Are you okay with the idea of being a DH? You've done it multiple times. You've had multiple at bats there. Is that okay for you, or do you feel like you need to be in the field too? Yeah, I mean, DH is a lot of people within the baseball world will say like it's its own position. It's just one of those things where your at bats, your action may be 3 innings apart. It's a little bit harder to stay locked in. It's a little bit harder, in my opinion, to just stay as consistent and loose. And there's ways to do it. A lot of big league DHers will even like hit in between innings. They'll go back into the tunnel and hit to try to stay loose. But I definitely love playing the field. It feels more like real playing to me. I'm never going to say no to DHing, but for me, like for me to be my best player, it's out there making plays defensively and carrying that in with hitting. JJ, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for talking with us today, and we hope that we do get a chance to see you up here at the big club very soon, hopefully this season. And when you do, stop by and say hello to us. We'd love it.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much.
It's great.
That is infielder JJ Weatherholt, who is absolutely crushing pitching at the minor leagues. I know a lot of Cardinals fans just cannot wait to see him. And, you can watch some minor league games. That's possible. But they want to see him in a Cardinals uniform, and they want to see it now.
Does he sound at all, and I know the answer to this, but does he sound at all like some kind of wide-eyed, I'm going to be in the big leagues. Golly, geez, what's it going to be like? He sounds like he's Bryce Harper or something, I mean, his confidence, it's so incredible, and it's not a show. He's not being a jerk, or he's not being cocky. Listen to him talk about hitting and talking about all these things. This guy knows who he is. He knows how to do what he needs to do, and he knows that he has got talent, and that's a big part of having success in the majors. You have to believe in yourself, and if you can go 2 for 18 over, a couple of weeks, right? And you have so much confidence and also knowledge of hitting that you can just shake that off like it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's a special hitter, and he's got those qualities already. And let me say this real quick, Chris. I want to say right now, he's not here yet, but I'm going to declare right now, he's the best interview that you will find on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, I will say this. My thought was, listening to him, is he gets it. There are those players who just get it. And it could be that he's young and, he's willing to talk now. And maybe when he gets to the big leagues and he gets seasoned a little bit, he'll be a little grouchier and not want to be upfront about how he feels about playing and what his thought process is and all that stuff, because your demands on your attention are so great once you get to the big league level. But it just sounds like a guy who gets it. And I don't mean the media attention. I'm talking about the game. It sounds like he really does get it. And again, like I said, that could change as he gets promoted. Once you get to the big leagues, everything, it's like the Tyson thing. Everybody's got a plan until they're punched in the mouth and things change, right? Maybe that happens to him, but that dude sounds like a guy who really understands what he needs to do to get here.
And I know Ollie Marmol, I talked to him about this at some point, and they were all curious what JJ Weatherholt would be like in spring training. I mean, they know he's got talent, right?
Yeah.
But Ollie and the staff and all the veteran players just watched him, and they're just incredibly impressed by his maturity, his intelligence, his feel for the game, but also the way he handles himself.
Yeah.
He fits in.
But right. Bernie, I got the same impression talking to Walker, too, before he made it up here. I felt like he got it, too. And maybe he still does, and he's struggling. And, I hope that he figures it out, because they could really use him to be what they thought he was going to be. So I'm excited about Weatherholt. Bernie, I'm also excited for you to tell us about our friends at Saliga.
You got it. The Saliga family, Saliga Heating and Cooling, they've been taking care of our family and St. Louis families all the way back to 1927. My friend Dan Saliga is the 4th generation owner-operator, and this business it's a proud family business, and they have a lot of pride in what they do. And that's why they're so great at what they do, because they want to uphold that reputation. And the DeMichlis family's been calling them for I would say 16, 17 years now. And they check every box. We've relied on them for major problems, minor problems, everything in between. And in my opinion, I am very proud to speak on their behalf, because they set the standard for honesty and knowledge, class, prompt service, professionalism. And in our experience, too, there's never been one moment, and this is true of some of our neighbors who have been calling Saliga, there's never been one moment where they try to hustle something, upsell something, talk you into something. It's the exact opposite. They try to find a cheaper solution for you. And I think that's really special. So family owned and operated for nearly 100 years, Saliga offers free estimates, financing options, and still has the best and most trustworthy customer service in St. Louis. And one more thing, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Take a look at the Saliga's Priority Club program, a maintenance plan that'll save you money by extending the life of your current equipment. Go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Two legendary bands, one epic night. Collective Soul and Live are bringing the rock to St. Louis. Catch their summer unity tour at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 17th with special guest Graylan James Rue. Don't miss your chance to hear such hits as Shine, December, I Alone, and All Over You. Collective Soul and Live. Tickets can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji today. Gashouse Gang every weekday from 12 until 1 o'clock right here in the middle of the afternoon, your lunch hour. We bring you some Cardinals baseball talk primarily. We just had a conversation with JJ Weatherholt. Really enjoyed that conversation, Bernie. We talked about him afterwards, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the big club, and hopefully that happens before the end of the year. With the way things are going, it's feeling more and more likely.
Yeah, and one thing that gives him an extra advantage as being a guy whenever he comes to the majors, and it'll be soon, is he's experienced than a lot of guys that have to make their way up the ladder. I mean, he played 3 seasons of college baseball. He went through some adversity there with an injury, things like that. He learned a lot, but he's an advanced hitter because of his experience and his age. He'll be 25. He'll be 25 years old. And excuse me, I got that wrong. He'll be 23 years old in September.
23 in September, right?
Yeah, and so the point being is that he's got a ton of at-bats already and experience already in college baseball, and pressure really doesn't bother him. And then he's handled every level of the minor leagues very, very well, and nothing seems to really bother him. And I think, like with what you mentioned, Walker has awesome raw talent. Don't get me wrong, but he basically jumped right in from high school, and then the Cardinals also had him at Double-A, and I think rushed him to the majors. And I think it was kind of just a lot. It was just a lot. And some guys, Hey, Jordan Walker is one of the smartest people as a human being the Cardinals have ever drafted. But as a baseball player, he still has so much to learn, and I think it can be overwhelming at times. So, and I hope he figures it out, because if he can get there, man, he's going to be very special for a long time.
Yeah, I do like his attitude, so I'm hoping he does figure this out. Henry is referencing your piece in Redbird Review on the low attendance the team has, just a game and a half out of a playoff spot. I don't know, Bernie. I think this has been going on for a while, and it would take a really strong season from the Cardinals, like being in first place by many games, to get people back. I think there's just a lot of skepticism about them that's built up over the last few years.
Sure. No, I understand. I got to tell you, though, Chris, real quick, it was jarring for me when I was doing some research for the column that I wrote yesterday. What prompted me to write that column or kind of revisit that topic was I looked at the average tickets sold per home game in the major leagues this year, and I saw that the Cardinals had fallen all the way down to 15th. Now, for most teams, they would be like, well, 15th, what's wrong with that?
Great.
Well, when you're in the top 5 for as long as they've been, top 3 in most years, and like if you finish 6th in attendance, that was like a down year, So they're 15th. And you know who the team is in front of them in terms of tickets sold? The Colorado Rockies.
Oh, man, yeah.
They're 21-72, and they are outdrawing the St. Louis Cardinals. I know the Cardinals have diehard fans, but, man, that's for the team itself to look at. Why in the world are the Rockies drawing more people than we are, and what do we have to do to fix it?
I think they just have to get better, and people have to believe it's real and not just a couple of months fluke. It really just comes down to that. When the Cardinals are truly, truly competitive again, people will come out to the ballpark quickly. Hey, you want to hear a baseball thing has nothing to do with the Cardinals?
Sure.
This was pointed out by Thomas Nestico, who's a stats guy, just a follow on Twitter, who's a pretty good follow. And he says Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers has recorded both the hardest hit ball and the fastest pitch for the Dodgers this season. So he's thrown the hardest pitch and he's hit the hardest ball. That guy, speaking of unbelievable talent.
I think he's got a future in this game. Yeah. I love to watch, especially those late night Dodger games. I love to watch his at-bats.
Great. He's really something, man. Bernie Miklasz, we'll talk next week, man. We'll see you on Tuesday with Oliver Marmol, who will be on the show as he is every Tuesday. Thank
you, man. Take care.
All right, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. If you want the podcast, it's right there on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find it on the Odyssey app as well. Have a good one. Dave Glover Show coming up next on 104.1 FM KMOX.